Hey, welcome back to the How to Podcast series. This is Dave. Hope you're doing well. This is the Daily Dave. My name is Dave. And as much as I want to, I would love to do these daily, but hey, this came up and I want to jump on here and talk to you. I just did it. I did. Yep, I did. I did it. I did the thing. You're like, Dave, what did you do? Oh, well, I just set up my YouTube channel with my RSS feed from the How to Podcast series, and now all of the episodes of the How to Podcast series, yes, all of the episodes are now available on your YouTube Music app, also showing on my YouTube playlist. I am thrilled, and the crowd goes wild. Yes, thank you. No, thank you. Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's true. I am now officially have all of my episodes on YouTube from the How to Podcast series, and it was super easy. You can do this, and I think you should. And here's one of the reasons why. Google Podcasts is leaving in a while, and everyone's kind of moving from Google Podcasts over to YouTube. I think you should do this for this reason alone. A free app for Android listening of podcasts is kind of hit and miss. Searchability, hit and miss. And I think the nice thing about YouTube Music and the YouTube platform is it's available to everyone. And that's what I love. So I have done it. Against what some of the gurus would yell at me, and you hear the gurus in the back of your head, and this is what they sound like. Yeah. When they hear the idea that we should have our podcast on YouTube, again, this is what they say. And I get a little bit about understanding why they're so worried and concerned. But at the same time, podcasts are all about the listener, not about the host, not about the tech. What the listener says a podcast is what a podcast is. That's how it goes. As much as I agree with an RSS feed, which is sending your podcast out through audio and video to the world, an RSS feed is really important. So I have one for all 7 of my podcasts, and I believe in RSS. If you don't know what that is, your first time here, welcome, by the way. RSS basically is like your address to your content, where the internet can find your shows and get updates whenever you release a new episode. And it goes out on all the different platforms. Apple, used to be Google, now YouTube, Spotify, and a bunch of other ones that you can actually access. I love being on Audible, where the audiobooks are. Makes sense to have your podcast on Audible. Be there. I'm also listed in Africa on AfriPods. I'm in India on 2 different apps. You can be everywhere with your content, and there's no reason to be on one place. So if you're only on Spotify, if you're only on Apple, if you're only on YouTube, you've limited your audience and narrowed the potential for people finding your show. So I signed up and got my stuff on YouTube in conjunction with my RSS feed. I think a balanced approach is probably the best approach for you. And again, YouTube, there is no limits to how many things you can upload. Where my hosting sites, I pay them a fee and I thank them for their amazing service, but they cut me off. Right now, my Living the Next Chapter podcast, I have like 100 episodes I can't upload because I hit my monthly limit every month, and I have more episodes coming, and I have to do a workaround to get my episodes to my guests, because otherwise they're going to wait for 4 months before their episode shows up. That doesn't work. There's got to be a better way. So here's some initial thoughts as I look at my YouTube channel and some of the things I've been going through, and all my files are there now. I'm excited. It's great to have my information there. And what I've noticed as you go through the process of uploading or connecting your RSS feed to your YouTube channel is when YouTube pulls in all of your episodes from your RSS feed into YouTube. It seems to do a comparison, because I have been uploading here and hit and miss here and there whenever I have time. I've been uploading the audio only episodes with a static image YouTube thumbnail. That's just the picture you see on the screen when the audio plays. No video, just the audio attached. Some of my guests don't want to be on video, so I honor them. Don't force your guests to be on video if they don't want to be. That's rude. So I have audio only, and basically I will call them slides, pictures on YouTube. I've been doing that against the guru's advice. Again, this is what the gurus would say about having a, quote, fake video. They say this. So anyhow, I've been doing it anyway because I've been using YouTube as a Google Drive. I just load my stuff up there. It's a backup drive. My computer ever dies, I have all my files for free with no limits on YouTube. Great idea. It works great for me. And despite the gurus, again, here they are, I still think it's a great idea. So this is what I do. You do you. This is what works for me and for my guests. And so as I go through this, I've connected my RSS feed, which I own. It's my property. It goes out to the world. And now YouTube has pulled in all my episodes. What I've seen is if I don't have an episode from my podcast list on YouTube, remember, I take a playlist, I turn it into a podcast. I did a whole episode on this. What it does is it does a comparison. And if there's anything missing from what I've preloaded before connecting my RSS feed, it fills in the gaps. And what it does is it pulls in my artwork from my podcast on YouTube, that little square image, and creates an audio-only version of the RSS pull. So it fills in the gap. And then what I do is I just go through and search and look through my titles. And I can quickly tell what I've uploaded in the past and what YouTube has pulled in. Because for me, I have a picture of my guest, a picture of the topic. I have a really nice thumbnail that I work hard on for every episode. And then as I scroll down, I see just the album artwork for my podcast. So I know that that's one they pulled in that I missed. Sorry. And I go through and I just update it. And when I look at what they pull in, I look at these show notes and I see where I haven't filled in a show note or there's information missing. Maybe there's old information I haven't updated in a long time. I go through and tweak that. The title, the required title at the very top of my upload, when it's too long, they have like a ... afterwards, meaning that my episode length, the length of my episode title is too long and I need to fix that. And the little tweaks that I make. And the other thing I notice, there's no thumbnail. So I go in then, using this as my guide, go back to Canva, create a thumbnail with my episode title, and add it here to the video details. Make sure everything's done, everything's the way I like it, add an end screen, whatever I want to do, add any cards, and it's all done. It's there. I hit save, and then go to the next one where I find my album artwork, replace it with a thumbnail, continue on the process. I noticed that in my show notes description part that gets pulled from my RSS feed between paragraphs, they add like extra space. So I just edit that so it looks nicer. So when I go to my channel on YouTube, again, you're looking across the top when you're on your YouTube studio. It says channel content, videos, live posts, playlists, podcasts. I click on podcasts, and now that I'm connected, there's a little RSS icon underneath my podcast title, my description, and there's a little RSS icon that's over on the left-hand side. So I can see that everything's there. It's great. And I'm excited about this. The one thing, too, that I've noticed is when I go in to my podcast details, and that would be under podcasts, I just click on it, and it says podcast details. Again, you want to have your title of your podcast, you want to have it set. I have mine set visibility to public. My description is there. My thumbnail is required. It has to be a square picture that represents your podcast. So make sure it's there. And then you'll see your RSS settings, where your RSS feed is. Here you can actually, this is where you actually add in your RSS, which would come from your host. So paste that here. There's also a disconnect button. If for some reason you want to stop, you can disconnect. And then my default settings that I've set up for myself, you can set it up to be as your videos come in, as your RSS comes in. You can set it to private, unlisted, or public. I have mine set to public. So every time a new episode like this goes out live, it'll go to my YouTube channel and be seen publicly right away without me having to do anything, which is awesome. The other thing you can see when you click the Show More button is to identify if you have any paid promotions in your RSS feed. Now, the majority of podcasters don't make any money from their podcasts, so you can probably skip all of this. But if you have commercials in your content, YouTube is not going to be happy with that, because they're going to put their own commercials on your podcast, on your content, so they don't want that in there. So my suggestion for anyone creating episodes is to leave the commercials out and have a version just for YouTube that makes it easy for them. And then at the bottom, it says, it gives me the option to upload all of my episodes from my RSS feed or upload episodes published since, and I can give it a date. So a couple more things to think about while you're looking at your YouTube back end. It sounds funny to say that. Make sure that your titles for your episodes are highly searchable. So you don't need the episode number on YouTube. On my audio players, I do have my episode titles, because when I send somebody to episode blah, 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 I want them to find it easily in my audio players, because otherwise you have to try to match up the title of the content, and that's a pain in the butt. So I'd rather tell you to go to episode 76, and there you'll find this podcast episode. So that's a lot easier to say on mic. So that's what I do. In YouTube, I have my episode title, the episode number. I have the word episode and the episode number in the show description, just so that it's the first thing you see on screen before you click play. But in the title, I want to use those limited characters very carefully, because there I have my co-host guest name, for example, so that they can find their own episode. That's important. Don't let anybody tell you that's not important, because that's ridiculous. You want the name of your guest, no matter how big or small they are. You want them to be able to find their own episode. Yes. And you want to make sure you have some of the searchable words, key terms that someone would go to YouTube to type to find the content of your conversation. Okay, so make sure there's something in there. So if you're talking about hamsters, and hamsters is nowhere in the name of your podcast or the episode title or in the show notes, good luck finding that episode. So make sure whatever you're talking about is in the name. Make sure it's there, something. And use those limited characters to your advantage so people can connect with you. Again, remember, YouTube is highly searchable. People know how to navigate YouTube. Apple sucks for search. Google Podcasts, it's going away. It's terrible. So one of the best search engines to find your podcast is on YouTube. Now, you can always send your listeners back to wherever you want. Leave links in your YouTube description. Talk about it on your podcast. Hey, thanks for finding me on YouTube. If you're interested, you can also get me on these apps. I'm available on this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. Let people know where else you're found outside of YouTube. We need to train YouTube viewers about podcasting, and that we're available everywhere, not just here on YouTube. Okay? So that's your job. You need to tell people that you're available everywhere through your RSS feed. Make sure people know that if they don't have access to YouTube for some reason, they can still find your show. That goes back to your website. Your website should have clickable links to where people can find you. So on my website, I have a clickable link to YouTube. I have a clickable link to Apple, to Spotify, because those are probably some of the more popular ones that people would search for. And then I have my pod.link on my website as well, which when you click on pod.link to your podcast, it lists all of the options where people can find your show. And they can choose whatever they want. Instead of telling them, only find me on Apple, that's ridiculous. You want to be found everywhere. So pod.link, pod.link, and then search for your podcast. And it pulls in all the information about your show and gives you an amazing shareable link for free. You don't have to pay for this. Sorry, Podpage. You don't have to pay for this. It's free, people. I love free. Put it in your email signature, your website. Create a second tab on your website where you click it. It takes people to pod.link. And everything is there. Your most recent episodes. All of the players. Everything. Your most recent episode at the top of the list. It's great. And it's free, people. Come on. Embrace the free. Come on. If you have that much money, buy me a coffee over at howtopodcast.ca and go with the free option. All right? I'll gladly accept a kind donation from you, oh my friend and faithful listener. So YouTube is here. RSS is available in Canada, where I am. It'll be coming to you soon if it's not available now. If you need any help setting up your podcast and connecting your RSS feed to YouTube, go over to howtopodcast.ca. There's access to my calendar. There's all my access is there. You can reach out to me. We'll do a video Zoom thing, and we'll share screens. I'll show you how to do it. I'll help you get set up and kind of navigate with you so that you feel comfortable. Adding YouTube to your listening audience is pleasure. Okay? So I'm going to upload this now to YouTube. I'm going to come back in the future with another Daily Dave, kind of a couple more things as I work through my setup of YouTube and my podcast with the RSS ingestion that I've been talking about. And I'm going to give you some more feedback on maybe how long it took for this to go live. I'm interested to find out how fast a new episode shows up on YouTube. I got my hands touching, like twiddling. I'm so excited. So yeah, I'll get back to you and let you know about that and a few more things that I find as I navigate RSS in YouTube. People, you need to be there. So I would love to help you do that. howtopodcast.ca. See you over on YouTube. Make sure you go subscribe, follow, share, wherever you hear this, and let people know that if you're starting a podcast, there's this guy named Dave Campbell who would love to help them and answer any questions, work with them, and most importantly, be in your corner to give you the help you need. No judgment here, people. We're here to help each other. All right? We're family here. Way more than just pals. We're family here at the How to Podcast series. Catch you over on YouTube. See you. Bye.